107.5 WBLS. Well, that's a classic, huh? Two Motown classics back-to-back inside of the calm before the storm. I'm Lenny Green. Nice to be close to you. Welcome to your Monday, and welcome to some company. And thank you so much for letting me come into your space. I got some company with me tonight. Last week I had the honor of going to a matinee to see the Broadway musical Motown. And ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you this. It was mesmerizing, informative, very educational, and electrifying because the performances were stellar. The music of Motown, the category of Motown, it really speaks for itself in volumes. And to bring it to life, kudos first and foremost out to Mr. Berry Gordy for just bringing it to Broadway, because this is something that we really needed. I have the honor of having the Berry Gordy of Motown the Musical with me tonight, so it's nice to welcome Brandon Victor Dixon. He plays big role. You're filling some big shoes, brother.
I'm doing what I can. Appreciate you having me on, Lenny.
I think the amazing thing that I didn't know about you, Brandon, is that you did not have hair.
No, I did not. There are a couple of wig pieces that they have on me. People rarely recognize me after the show.
I'm sure.
They pass me by reaching for young Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And speaking of Michael Jackson, we have the young man who actually portrays Michael Jackson. He portrays a young Stevie Wonder, and he portrays a young Berry Gordy. So it's nice to welcome Raymond Duke Jr. How are you, sir?
Good, how are you?
And happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
How old are you now?
14.
Brandon, you and I remember those days, huh?
I do.
They're
fondly.
long gone. Real long gone for me.
It's been a minute.
Let me just say, stellar performances by both of you.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
So
Appreciate it.
wonderful job.
Thank you.
How difficult was it? Let's start with you, Brandon. How difficult was it for you to understand Mr. Berry Gordy? Did you have a chance and an opportunity to meet him, sit down with him, and kind of get into his character?
Oh, no, definitely. I mean, Barry wrote the show and he produced it. So Barry's been there from day one, and so when I first got the project, a couple weeks after that, I ended up sitting down with Barry and, I read through his book, his autobiography, To Be Loved, and just spent some time with him. In all honesty, it was pretty easy. We saw very early on that I'm very much like him in a lot of ways, particularly from the Raymond's nodding his head. From the creative standpoint, we both pursue creative excellence and we're very exacting of ourselves, but also the people around us. And he's a very honest individual. So I spent a lot of time with him. I read his autobiography, but I also read the autobiographies of the other artists to get different people's perspectives on him.
Raymond Duke Jr.
Yes.
When Michael Jackson was your age, you wasn't even here.
No. Whew.
So how did you study Michael Jackson?
It's funny because 2 years ago, back in 2011, I did a Michael Jackson cover, and I think it was I'll Be There, and then 2 years later, then I got the part.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but it was hard because I didn't know how to hit the notes he did, and because my voice was a little scratchy, and plus I had to take, vocal lessons, and I had to learn his moves, his spins. They wanted me to do double spins, and I couldn't do double spins. And now that I can, they want me to do it. So
I've been hearing about that double spin.
yeah,
I see you
yeah,
did
I'm
that.
telling you.
Well, you're doing an excellent job. And,
Thank you.
before you leave,
Yeah.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay.
So I want everyone to kind of get a little taste.
Okay.
Now, little do you know, I used to sing. And
You know
Michael
that.
Jackson was, I thought I was going to be the second Michael Jackson.
With all that bass, Lenny?
This came later on, brother, later on. Look, join us online right now. You can go to WBLS.com, click on the Quiet Storm page, go to LennyGreen.com. I'm going to continue the conversation with Brandon and Raymond online. We'll come back and talk with them and tell you more about their lives personally, and, of course, that wonderful Broadway musical, Motown, who you got to see, baby. It's 107.5 WBLS. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us online. The introduction, once again, Mr. Brandon Victor Dixon. He portrays Berry Gordy himself in the Broadway musical Motown. And this young man who has just turned to the wonderful age of 14, Raymond Duke Jr., portrays Michael Jackson primarily in the play. But you also have the young Stevie Wonder and, of course, Berry Gordy. So that means your paycheck is pretty big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It ain't that big, son.
I know. But yeah.
All right. Individually, do y'all love what you do or like what you do?
Love.
Love.
Really? we'll start with you first. When did you know that entertainment or the industry was going to be something you wanted to pursue?
When I was 10, I used to sing in the shower, and my dad would hear me, and he would come in and tell me, "Be quiet, Raymond, be quiet," until he actually listened. And after that, I said, I want to be a singer for the rest of my life, an actor. And he said, okay. And we started doing auditions. And like a couple of weeks later, then we found Motown.
Just like that?
Yeah. And I auditioned twice.
Yeah, powerful intentions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, at 14, Brandon, did you get that bug of the industry early on?
I knew it. My mother will tell you that I told her when I was 3 years old that I was going to be an entertainer.
Really?
You know, it's
with the bottle in your hand.
Yeah, man, that's something I've always known.
Really?
You know, there's never been a time when I did not know that this was what I was going to do with my life. It's one of those things. I talk to people a lot of times. You know, it's very fortunate when you know early on what you want to do, because that's the difficulty in life. If you don't know what you want to do, then you can't move forward. You can't move in any direction. It's one of the most frustrating things in the world. But I've known from a very young age, just like Raymond. So it made it easier for us to put ourselves on the path to achieve that. You know.
And it's paying dues. I mean, you know, Raymond, you're very fortunate. You were 14 years old and on Broadway. Now, this is your Broadway debut.
Yes, first.
Brandon, you paid some dues before you got to Broadway.
I mean, yeah, my first Broadway show was The Lion King, but I did the tour first. I did that in Chicago, and then I came to Broadway with The Color Purple.
And you got a Tony nomination for that too.
Yes,
kudos
my
to you,
first.
That's big. That's big.
Clap, clap.
So, but aside from that, you did television. You did.
Yes, I mean, since I've been here, I mean, I've been doing theater, but also, you know, shot The Good Wife, did some Law and Order, was on One Life to Live for a little while as well. So, you know, you in between projects, you want to branch out and explore other areas of the industry. You know,
yeah,
I
you
mean,
don't want to keep yourself limited.
Yeah, I mean, even Ray's doing that now because since he's been on Broadway now, he started recording some music too. Like, you want to branch out and explore all aspects of your art.
So is just singing still the main focus, or because I know you're a vice president, and we'll talk about that in a little while.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I don't want to be good at like one thing. I want to be good at two or more. I want to be an actor too, because I love that too. I love singing and acting, and yeah. For now, I guess it's singing, but in the future, I want to do acting.
Now you've already done some commercials. I understand.
Yeah.
So you've been making money for a mighty long time, man. You're not even at 16. You're making money. Are you saving your money?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that Toys R Us bag I just saw?
Oh yeah. Today, me and my dad my dad was just in a good mood today, and he said, "You know what? Let's go in the city. Let's go shopping and stuff." So. Yeah, and then he said, "Yeah, I have to put a limit on you because you'll spend over my card."
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you go to Toys R Us, what kind of things you get?
I don't know, unnecessary things. I don't know. I just like buying toys, and if I like to think about my brothers and sisters too. Shout out to them.
How many brothers and sisters?
I'm the oldest out of 5. So, 3 brothers and 1 sister.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you know, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to walk in your footsteps. So, you know, it's wonderful, man. How long has the play been on Broadway now?
About a year and 2 months now.
Mm-hmm.
And this is your first full week
one.
that you I heard that you walked. Yeah, you worked all week.
Yeah.
But you
Did you do 8 shows another time?
I
as well?
did because
Yeah.
he was, a little sick, but I think I did 7 shows the other week before I went the week. Yeah.
Okay.
But Brandon, you're always doing 8 shows.
8 shows.
I'm not gonna even talk about your bank account. I'm not even gonna do that, brother. But it's a grueling schedule. A lot of people think it's pretty easy. Do you guys have to rehearse during the day?
I mean, no. It's well, unless there are new people coming into the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you have cast changeovers, then we have to come in and we have to rehearse with the new cast members, really welcome them into the process. But thankfully, normally we don't have rehearsals because doing the 8 shows in 7 days, you do 2 shows a week on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Like, it can be a lot. You know, it's 2 hours and 45 minutes long.
Oh, I didn't. You know what? I knew it was over 2
That's
hours.
including intermission.
Wow.
Oh.
No, that is a lot. It really is grueling, and you have to be disciplined, obviously, to do it.
Certainly.
How much? Where's the time? Where does the time come in for you guys to do individual things?
Mondays for me, or when I go to LA, once a month. that's the only time I have is Mondays.
Mondays.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, it's I'm since I'm of a greater age, have greater levels of responsibility than young Raymond.
Right.
You know, as things grow, it really doesn't stop. You take whatever opportunity you have to, you make the best use of your time. You know, I have a production company that I started with the choreographer, one of the choreographers of Motown, Warren Adams. We have a company called Walk, Run, Fly Productions, and you know, so I spend a lot of our off time. We work on our production projects.
What kind of productions?
Well, we're actually currently co-producing 2 shows that are on Broadway as well. On Broadway, there's a play and a musical, Of Mice and Men, starring James Franco, and Hedwig and the Angry Inch, starring Neil Patrick Harris. They just opened the past 2 weeks. So
you co-produce?
Yeah, we're co-producers with Harriet Levy and Raise the Roof. So you know, we've been working on those things. We're co-producers of a new musical that we're bringing into Broadway next year about the life of Ray Charles, called Unchain My Heart, with Stuart Benjamin, who produced the film Ray.
Wow, and you played Ray.
Yes.
At one point in your career. Wow. I didn't realize you were into that, man.
Yeah, you know, gotta because the thing is, like, when you're developing a show like Motown, you know, we were creating it from the ground up. Really, as you develop as an artist, you're not just thinking about what you're singing and what you're speaking in terms of your lines. You're thinking about what message you're trying to convey through this scene or through this process. So you really naturally, your mind begins to think about all elements of it. So it was a natural step to be a producer and make sure that your voice is heard on both sides of the table.
Wow. And now you have a company as well, and you're a vice president.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want you to save that. We're gonna go in the air. We're gonna find out about this. A vice president at 14 years old. What is this world company? Wow. Okay. And your dad is the president.
Yeah. I did not know my dad wanted to do this.
Hey, he's got to watch you because you're going to go to Toys R Us all the time. That's why.
Yeah. Oh.
The company's got to keep money.
Yes.
We can't keep money. We keep going to Toys R Us.
Yeah.
Wow, we have Brandon Dixon with us and Raymond Duke Jr. with us. We'll go on air and talk with them in just a little while. But thanks for watching Behind the Scenes. You always get more when you look and watch. 107.5 WBLS, the calm before the storm, baby. We have Motown visitors with us tonight. Before we slow it down and kind of get into things tonight, it is nice to welcome Brandon Victor Dixon. He plays Barry Gordy in the Motown Musical on Broadway at the L'Enfantin Theater. And joining him tonight is Raymond Duke Jr., who portrays a young Michael Jackson. So young. When I was growing up, I was right in sync with Michael. I thought, you're playing my role, man. You know, and you play my role very well.
Thank you.
Yes, you do a very, very good job. But we were just talking online, and I hope those of you who are watching and listening online, I hope that you were able to catch some of the in-depth conversation that I had with Brandon and Raymond. Brandon has a production company.
Yes, Walk, Run, Fly Productions.
And you are co-producing 2 shows that's also on Broadway.
Yeah, so you know, my partner who choreographed Motown the Musical, one of the choreographers of Motown, he and I formed this company, and we're co-producers with Harriet Levy and Raise the Roof Productions on Of Mice and Men, starring James Franco, and Hedwig and the Angry Inch, starring Neil Patrick Harris. They both just opened in the past 2 weeks. You all should check those out if you get a chance. They're great shows.
Wow. And Raymond Duke Jr., you have a company as well.
Yes.
That you're a vice president of.
Yeah.
At 14 years old. What's the name of your company and what do you do?
Lukey Baby Production.
Lukey Baby Productions. Okay. Okay. And what does your company do?
Music.
Oh, so you're going to actually make some music?
Well, music and shows. So, yeah.
At 14, you got a grueling schedule.
Yeah.
Now, and you're bi-coastal. You fly to California, you said once a month.
Yeah, once a month. Yeah, to see my family. Yeah.
Okay, so look, this is what I need to do. I need to let everyone know. Vito, I'm going to ask you to bring down the music, the background music, because I want everyone to hear how you do what you do on Broadway, portraying the young Michael Jackson. I told you when we met.
Yeah.
I said I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
So this is not tape. This is live. All right.
Okay.
So for the million people that are listening,
live. This is what he does. Live.
This is true.
Live.
He's better than
So
me.
I'm going to sing the medley in the show. Yeah, just a little bit of the medley. Okay. Let me tell you now. When I had you to myself, I didn't want you around. Those pretty faces always made you stand out in a crowd. Then someone picked you from the bunch. One glance was all it took. Now it's much too late for me to take a second look. Oh, baby, give me one more chance. Won't you please let me back in your heart? Oh, darling, I was blind to let you go. But now since I see you in his arms.
That is Raymond Luke Jr., young MJ in the Broadway musical Motown. Man, and you know, there's one thing you say, Brandon, in the show, portraying Berry Gordy. He sings with conviction, but he's so young.
Yeah.
And Michael definitely had that character,
Like
that magic.
Like a 2-year-old who sings the song
Oh,
like he's
yeah.
been living it for 30 years.
Yeah, man. I remember Smokey told me an interesting story about that, but you're absolutely right. Well, look, I just want to thank both of you for coming by tonight.
It was our pleasure.
Yeah,
Thanks
and
for having us.
letting us know and learn a little bit more about y'all. If you get a chance, there's at the Lund Fontaine Theater.
Yes, 46 in Broadway.
And trust me, this is a show you can take the entire family to see. And you will love it.
Come on and check us out.
Oh, Brandon Victor Dixon, and of course, Raymond Luke Jr., Berry Gordy, Michael Jackson, 107.5 WBLS. More to come. Just want to say goodbye to the folks who are watching us online. Again, it's an honor to have both of you here with me tonight. What would you, in closing, what would you say to those who are trying to aspire or trying to get into the game from both perspectives? And I got two, different generations here. So from a mature perspective, because people are always trying to break into new things, is there an age limit when it comes to breaking into? Obviously, you have to pay some dues, and obviously, you have to get some training. But is there still hope for a seasoned or an older or mature person to kind of break into the business?
Certainly. I mean, you look at art. Art knows no boundaries. Whether theater, film, television, music. As long as you have something unique to express, if you have talent within yourself and you're willing to put in the time to cultivate that and to find your voice, and you have the courage to put your voice out there, there's always a time and place for that. There's always a way, no matter who you are or what stage in your career and your life you are at. And the whole thing is, if you have that within yourself, then you owe it to yourself to take the opportunity and recognize that you're doing it in order to share. Make sharing your goal. And don't worry about the rest. Don't worry about fame and fortune. Those things come with sharing your heart with people,
Valid point. Raymond, you're so young. How do you stay so focused?
Well.
And how do you discipline yourself? Because I know there's a certain level of discipline that you knew that you had to adapt to if you wanted to be successful in this business, and obviously.
Yeah, you have to. For me, I believe in myself a lot. Like, say if I cracked on a note and backstage, you may not see me, but sometimes I get upset because sometimes I'm like, oh, I could have done that better, Miss Lisa, but I didn't. And she's kind of like, Raymond, just believe in yourself. You'll get through it. But for me, for kids out there, believe in yourself and pick yourself back up.
Yeah, don't be afraid of mistakes. Mistakes happen. We all keep going.
Well, great advice for both of you. Raymond, Brandon, thank you again for coming by.
Thank you for having us.
All the best with much success, and I know it's going to do extremely well. So
thank you, sir.
Have fun.
We'll do.
Okay?
Certainly.
Check it out. Motown, the musical, Broadway, the Lund Fontaine Theater. You don't want to miss it. It is definitely something that is breathtaking and exhilarating at the same time. Thanks for watching us online. We'll come back a little later, chop it up some more. 107.5 WBLS. Bingo.